Morning and good afternoon. Uh, to start today's webinar, uh, as per the agenda of the program, the first item is the welcome address. So I cordially invite Dr. Tamara Dias, Acting Director General, National Science Foundation, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Dr. Tamara.
Thank you, Shanta. Good morning, our chairman and all the participants from UK and ILD staff. And good afternoon here all at Sri Lanka. Actually, the National Science Foundation is mandated to promote science and technology. R&D potential, strengthening R&D potential is our main mandate. And in this exercise, our chairman thought that we need to get the services or the expertise of all Sri Lankans abroad, as well as in Sri Lanka. So with his initiative, this digital platform was organized, and we had two very successful meetings with Australia with over 70 participants and with UK over 50 participants. And today we are having this with the UK, expatriates in UK, and I think this session will be a very successful one to get everybody's attention and your effort and your all what you can do to uplift the Sri Lankan S&T with the agenda that the National Science Foundation wishes to take on according to our national priorities. So I warmly welcome all of you to this platform and wish everyone a successful meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tamara. The next item is the opening remarks. Professor Ranjit Senaratna, Chairman of the National Science Foundation. Actually, in fact, the digital platform seed idea was, of course, Professor Senaratna's. So I cordially invite our chairman to for the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Aibon, Vanakkam, and good morning and good afternoon, our friends in Sri Lanka, our valued professionals, academics, intellectuals, and scientists in the United Kingdom. I also wish to extend the most warm and cordial welcome to our distinguished participants from UK to this webinar. And as our DG mentioned, we have been conducting 2 seminars earlier. This time we are very happy to be with you, a country very near and dear to us, and we have a lot in common which we all know. As you know, our country celebrated our second year after anniversary. But with all our resources, natural resources, high literacy rate, high climatic and edaphic potential, strategic location, with all that, we are still remaining as a developing country with an per capita income around 4,000 or little less this year. But you know, UK is over 40,000 US dollars annually. And we know this S&T personnel, number of S&T personnel has a direct relationship to GDP. When we look at this Sri Lankan landscape of science S&T, we are actually at a very low ebb. We have only around, according to UNESCO latest figures, only about 111 full-time man equivalent of S&T per million of people in the country. It is about 250 for India, 350 for Pakistan, and UK over 4,000, and Israel over 8,000. So we have a very low number of S&T personnel which need to be augmented, but that cannot be done in a short period of time. But we have over 3 million of expatriates, and of whom about 15 to 25 are professionals. We see this as an untapped and untouched potential. And actually, the whole purpose of this digital platform to harness this untapped and untouched potential for national development, but of course in a mutually rewarding and reinforcing manner. With this objective, we constructed this digital platform which would be launched shortly, and we propose to tap into this potential to enhance our higher education, our S&T, our foreign direct investment, joint business, exports, even in tourism. So there are many areas that could benefit through the contribution from expatriates, including our industry. So we are really keen to establish symbiotic partnership with the expatriates, and we would like them to be a guiding force. So this platform will really help in this direction. And the purpose here of this webinar is to really create awareness about this platform and to invite your ideas, suggestions, and also proposals to make the platform more relevant, more meaningful, and impactful. This Sri Lanka actually could make a lot of progress in this direction if we harness this potential. And especially in higher education, we feel that earlier we had many scientists going to many parts of the world, going to USA, Europe, Australia, and so on. But now we see the opportunities for higher education overseas fast shrinking, and vast majority going to India, Japan, Korea, and China. So mainly it is Asia. We are happy about our students, staff going there. But I think that melting pot we had in the past, now getting narrowed down, I think with that we also see an academic depression. So we are very keen to really harness this, this potential to the advancement of our country. And the digital platform really provide a pragmatic and credible mechanism. Earlier, there have been many efforts made to harness this potential, but there was no clear roadmap. Also, there was no clear mechanism to engage them. So we are really trying to engage the hearts, minds, and also competencies of our experts to national development. And we also planning to conduct a conference on COVID, for which also we are inviting contributions from our expatriates all over the world. And we have been going from Australia to USA, now to UK, and we'll be covering other parts, and we'll construct a roadmap based on the feedback we are receiving, and then we will have a greater discussion on a structured manner in order to make this platform a success. So we will be making further observation, but as open remarks, I conclude with these few comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As highlighted by the Professor Senaratne, the prime objective is to tap the global talent pool for the advantage and the mutually rewarding benefits. In fact, after opening remarks, our expatriate will come up with the mind that where is the actually, can we touch upon the digital platform? Of course, actual development of the digital platform was assigned to SLASCOM, that is one of the iconic association in Sri Lanka related to engage in the software industry. So probably today was the day for handing over the platform in the mid, I mean, towards the mid of this program. High management representatives from the SLASCOM expected to join the forum so that they will highlight the technical features and indicative of when it will commission sooner. I think without much delay, we can commission and facilitate the to taste the real experience of the actual digital platform to our expatriates. With that, next item is the speech from the Sri Lankan side principal focal point, but it seems that Professor Sumatipala yet to connect with us. So we will move on to the next item. Next item is the address by the Professor Dilanti Amaratunga, Professor of Disaster Risk Reduction and Management from University of Huddersfield, UK. Before proceed, Professor Dilanti, are we expected to run your slides from our end, or you will run it?
I will run it from here.
Okay, okay, okay. Over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you. Give me a second. You need to enable me to share the screen, Shanta.
We can help you if you
Yes, madam, you are already host.
I think okay. So if you can actually go through the slides, then I will talk to the CC. All right. Okay. Yeah. So can everybody see the slides?
Madam, yeah, we are yet to see the slides.
That is why you need to allow me to share the screen. Give me a second.
Madhava, can...
Yeah, but madam, you are already a host.
Give me a second.
Or shall I share the slides from here?
Yeah, okay, now I can now. Thank you.
Yes, you can go to the slide, PowerPoint slide mode.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see slides now.
All right, okay.
Yes,
so
now okay.
All right, okay. So good morning to all my colleagues from the UK and also sort of the team at NSF based in Sri Lanka. So thank you very much, Ranjit, for this invitation, asking me to share a few ideas and also recent experiences as a kind of a main contact point for this arrangement between UK and Sri Lanka in particular. So I suppose I think a lot of people know me, but the people who don't know me, I'm Dilanti Amaratunga. I'm based in at the University of Huddersfield in the north part of the country. So I'm actually I consider myself as a kind of a person who's actually doing research into disaster risk reduction and management, and I have been actually working in this field since. Almost since year 2000. So these are some of the statistics. I suppose we can actually get to know each other better later. So a kind of a snapshot on Sri Lankan academics in the UK. So I suppose as Ranjit highlighted, I think it is fair to say that there's a rich crop of Sri Lankan born academics in the UK. And of course, I think it is fair to sort of say, and I figured out some very familiar faces already. They actually play a very important role in the UK academy. But having said that, I think it is fair to say that many want to share their skills and knowledge with universities on their home continent. And that is the main reason why we have come together today. So again, I think Ranjit emphasized the point that wealth of this resource has been underutilized. So in that sense, I suppose harnessing correctly is very, very important. And I suppose we all have this inherent bias towards our homeland, and this can actually act as amplifying nodes in powerful cross-border networks. I think you all may agree with me on that point. And I suppose, I think in my view, we can lend not only our expertise, but also our professional reputations, particularly very two important factors. So I suppose, again, Ranjit emphasized the point that this lack of credible and pragmatic mechanism has hindered the contributions to Sri Lanka, whereas countries like China, India, Taiwan, they have actually made remarkable benefits by harnessing their expatriates. So in that sense, I really need to applaud what Ranjit is actually trying to do after all these years, and UNICEF is taking the leadership. Thank you very much. So I suppose just getting back to my personal experiences, I have been actually working in Sri Lanka since 1998. I can recall I had my very first research grant with Sri Lanka in 1998. At the time, I was a PhD student, but we had a grant application. So since then, of course, I have been actually working very closely with a lot of Sri Lankan institutions, both academic, non-academic, technical, policy, and so on and so forth. So this is actually a very, very brief snapshot at my current institution. So I suppose what are the drivers for international research collaborations? I suppose, of course, it's capacity building without any cost. And of course, research funding, because again, it provides funding to researchers and to purchase equipment and so on and so forth. Another point is that actually it helps us to develop solutions which actually we all face around the world. For example, as Ranjit also pointed out, the COVID pandemic is one of the classic examples. And also, I think needless to say, particularly from the university's perspective, international collaborations actually help rankings. And also it helps publications also. For example, I think the statistics is very useful. An estimated 1/5 of world scientific papers are co-authored internationally. I think this is actually very, very important. So, and also it says very recently, I read last week actually, articles with multi-country authors actually get more citations. Of course, particularly our colleagues from the academic community. Of course, we are not doing publications seeking citations, but of course citations matter. And also it helps to improve national competitiveness. So without taking much time within my allocated time, I suppose personal reflection working with Sri Lanka during the last 23 years. So I have asked some questions for myself. Was it a good decision to do international research collaborations? Of course, my answer is yes. Partnerships have already been for mutual benefit. And also I see relationships with Sri Lankan universities as a service. Of course, I'm a product of the Sri Lankan education system until the completion of my undergraduate degree. So I enjoy a sense of well-being when working with institutions and finding it really rewarding. And also the other point in terms of personal reflections is, does my research partners believe in benefits? Definitely, absolutely. For example, I have given 2 points here, capacity development and also complementing skills. So then the other point is, with whom am I collaborating with? My point is, if you're willing with full commitment, I'm there. If you don't want to do anything to do with, that is fine too. So there's no begging bowl. I think that is actually quite important as well, because unfortunately some parts of the community have this different view. I will get into that a little bit later, because we really need to be quite open about what we're trying to do. So how do I perceive a mutual partner? For example, in my view, in particular, enthusiastic academic colleagues, of course, who are supported by their leadership, otherwise they won't be able to operate, are the key ingredients. Internal structures play no role from external point of view. For example, I suppose I work with people, and really speaking, sorting out internal matters is actually not for us to actually particularly worry about too much. So I suppose those are actually the positives. I think it is we shouldn't forget about the not so pleasant experiences also, particularly in a platform like this. It is quite important. I suppose ever-changing governance policies. At the moment, nobody really knows what the system is, who should be taking decisions, and how long it will take to get an agreement. I'll give you, these are actually not just mere assumptions, these are from actual situations. For example, at the moment, we are trying to actually sort out an agreement, a major grant, and a day before yesterday, I was told it can take up to 6 months to get the agreement signed, because it should actually channel through, I suppose, the terms that I could remember is Department of External Resources, Cabinet, and then Foreign Ministry, you know, about 10 organizations were named. So I suppose in that sense, I think, can we wait for 6 months to kickstart a project? I think these are actually major issues that we need to look into. And this is actually from a very current problem that we are facing. And linking with that, of course, these obstacles with long delays in internal administrative processes need to be removed. Again, these are actually not from the university's point of view. The universities are very supportive, the vice chancellors are very supportive, and also certain institutions like NSF, UGC are trying to help, but there are problems somewhere. And also the other point is issues of accountability. Of course, as we all know, we all are, and we all are accountable to our funder and also to our workplaces. I suppose maybe some parts of the Sri Lankan system maybe don't get that point. I think they think that when the fund, when there's a research fund coming to Sri Lanka, that they can just do whatever they want, really speaking, without actually looking into the funding rules and so on and so forth. So that is actually a major issue. So linking with that, I suppose some of the other negativity, again, you know, these are direct quotations. We don't need international theories. We know our issues. And also, for example, you know, oh, they're trying to collect data for their use and there's no benefit to us. Or, well, it can also be, oh, how much am I getting from the pot? Something like that. But I need to emphasize, it is really unfair for me to generalize these. There need to be a reason why I'm still collaborating after 23 years. So of course, for me, the positive points are much more than negative points. That is why I'm still working with Sri Lanka after 23 years. So when there are easier options, again, the issue is, why do I want to bother with these difficulties? So that is why I suppose the role that Ranjit is trying to, or the platform that Ranjit is trying to create and to give a kind of a solution to current problems is very well received. So these are actually, of course, I'm not trying to actually create a kind of a negativity, you know, at the point of starting, but of course, I think we need to face the reality. That is why I shared the positive points and also as well as the not so positive reflections. So getting back to the digital platform idea, I think in my view, it is such a wonderful idea, but I suppose in the first instance, these obstacles in collaborating needs to be eliminated from the system, because then only the digital platform can actually can be a kind of a solution to some of these problems, or provide a platform for all of us to come together who are based in the UK and our counterparts in Sri Lanka to come together to share information. But we can only do that if all these underlying problems are sorted. So in that sense, I suppose the purpose and the scope is very, very good. But of course, there are certain issues to be decided upon. I'm sure there will be discussions. For example, whether it will be a single platform, or what are the policies, whether the platform has to be country-based. You know, maybe there's a good reason to say that it is good to be country-based, because the rules and regulations vary. Whereas we have a very well-managed system in working with overseas countries. There are various direct research funding mechanisms. It might not be the case with other countries. And also the next question is how, whether it can be just a platform technology, or it can be actually a specific platform that needs building from the scratch, or it can be just using existing mechanisms such as LinkedIn and Facebook and other technology. In that case, the maintenance will be very, very easy, because in my view, these platforms needs to be very much up to date. And also led by who will actually take the responsibility. And then the next key point is sustainability. Again, with a lot of websites, what we see is like, they haven't been updated on regular basis. So in that sense, sustainability is extremely important. So in that sense, I suppose, just to conclude my very short remarks, I think the key to effective engagement is the process of governance powered by digital, and of course supported by right systems based on the concept of mutual benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dilanti. We appreciate the significant contribution you have made over the past several years in capacity building, especially in several universities in Sri Lanka. So also you have contributed towards creating a culture for research culture, and our appreciation. The issues that you touched upon, we have noted, and we are doing our utmost to iron them out, and we are confident that we would be able to eliminate those hurdles and things would be smooth sailing before long. And as you pointed out, now we see there, I think because of pandemic, many countries are having this problem of financial constraints. But even without funding through digital platform like this, we can do a lot of things which will not entail much additional funding. With these brief comments, like to invite our expatriates to express their views to make this platform more meaningful and relevant.
Sir, excuse?
Yes.
I think Mr. Ashik now with us.
He's joined. Okay.
He has joined. So shall we ask him to brief bit and then open for the discussion?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. Ashik.
Yes, Mr. Shanta.
Okay. You can now speak about a few words about the platform and the technical features, and of course, if you could indicate the commission date, it will be more helpful for the expatriate. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
All right, let me share my screen. I think you have disabled. Is it possible for me to share my screen on this?
Professor Dilanti, madam, I think you have to return host privileges back to me.
Okay, until such time, let me open it up. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone who has joined this webinar. On behalf of SLASCOM, I represent SLASCOM in the position of Vice Chairman too. On behalf of SLASCOM, which is the IT BPM sector chamber, Knowledge and Innovation Chamber, representing the industry, it's my privilege to make a quick presentation on the platform we are building for the National Science Foundation. Beyond helping build the platform, SLASCOM and NSF plan to connect with the technology community in the UK and in other parts of the world to collaborate in research and commercial partnerships in areas of fintech, artificial intelligence, robotics and drones, data science, cybersecurity, in areas which we are building centers of excellence in Sri Lanka. But we hope to receive your invaluable support in this endeavor. Let me see if I can still share the screen. Yes, I can. Are you able to see? Yeah, so this will be a very simple platform in phase 1, and it will be under the main NSF website, which is at nsf.ac.lk. So the landing page is simply an introduction to what this program is, and an invitation for our Sri Lankan expatriates to join in this national course. It will also feature some of the recent successes NSF has had in collaborating with Sri Lankan expats all over the world, and also a registration link for the expats to register. The registration page is very simple, just name and contact details. Key to this is which country you are from, which discipline or sector that you belong to, and also which the institution that you work for. On registration, this will come to NSF for a review. Once they review the applicant, they will approve the application, and the person who registered will get a email link to activate his account. The site will have 3 main areas. One of the key areas is obviously to find expatriates and Sri Lankan academics and professionals on this site as well. So it's the member directory, which is or the expat directory, which is through the registration process. Here it's quite searchable, name, discipline, country, whatever the features that you have put that you can look for. From here, we have a forum, which is going to be, all these are just sample pictures, but the platform is being built. Essentially, this will allow the registered person to either participate in discussions which are going on, or start their own discussion threads. These are a typical forum type of thing where people contribute ideas, share any articles or pictures or any other material that they deem to share. We also have an articles page. Again, this is just a sample with some sample images, but essentially these are articles that NSF will publish on their own, which they want to showcase here, or it can even be articles and publications that the expat community would like to share. Those can be sent to NSF, and NSF will curate those content and categorize them and tag them appropriately to be able to find under the articles section. We have also included a suggestion section where it's a free feedback mechanism to let us know how else we can improve the experience on this platform. Beyond that, phase 2, we are looking at whether we can improve the matchmaking aspect of this program, where after we have enough registrations, how to classify all these things and all the people, and how to classify their interests, and comes to enable some sort of a matchmaking facility in the platform itself. That's about it from me. This is phase 1, as I said, and we are actually almost ready. We are now going to reach out to NSF to get some amount of registered people who we have. This is the 3rd session we are doing. We have done with Australia and US before, and this is the UK session. So we will probably get some sample registrations done first, so that there is some data in the portal for others to see and register, and some publications, etc. So we are, if these contents are all uploaded, we are, I think, good to go by end of this month, which will be about mid next week. Over to you, Mr.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashik. I think we understand you had just before another meeting, and anyhow, you have committed to join and explain the technicalities and the way forward of the platform. Thank you very much for joining and your well explanation. Thanks.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sir, Professor Senaratna, now I think Professor Sumatipala has joined with us. We will give him to the speak.
Yes.
Yeah. Professor Atula Sumatipala, Professor of Psychiatry, Keele University, UK, and the Chairman of the National Institute of Fundamental Studies, Sri Lanka. He is the principal liaison point in Sri Lanka. Now I cordially invite Professor Sumatipala to say a few words, express his insight to this forum. Over to you, sir. Professor Sumatipala, I think your mic, yeah.
From you, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. Now you
apologies for being late. I was having some meetings here at NIFS Kandy, and that was the reason. I'm not going to take too much of time. I just want to really thank Professor Senaratna, the chairman NIFS, National Science Foundation, NFS, to actually initiating this. Some of you who are in this webinar know that I have been talking about it for the last 20 years, but I need to thank Professor Senaratna for making my dream a reality. I can see Professor Dharmadasa, I can see Trishanta Nanayakkara, you all know. So it's a bold step. It's something which I have been looking forward to for many, many years, but due to historical reasons, it never took off the ground. So I just want to vouch my hesitant, unrepentant support for this and work as the Sri Lankan point of contact. And rather than saying that, I don't have any intention to make a long speech. As you all know, you all are there due to many different reasons, sometimes not be by choice. But as I always say, Videsha Gata Lankikyan, Gata Videshiyai, Namut Hita Deshiyai. You are like-minded people who are grounded here. There are Sri Lankans who are Gata Lankiyai, Hita Videshiyai. So Videsha Gata Het Hita Deshiyavu Oba Sri Lankiyan Sielu Denatama, Mama Dairya Saha Ashirwade Patano me for joining this initiative. And Lashan would remember, Dharma, you would remember when we formed APSL, one of our dreams was to contribute back to the nation development. But there had been, Ranjit, a lot of red tapes. You know, one of the issues my expatriate colleagues, I don't like the word expatriate. By Oxford definition, expatriate means that people who have withdrawn their allegiance to the nation, which you all have not. So therefore, the so-called expatriates who are true Sri Lankans, thank you very much. And even though you all wanted to contribute in the past, there was a lot of red tapes, there was a lot of backstabbing, there were a lot of rejections, and some people did not recognize the role of an expatriate in nation building. And I'm really grateful. I'm not a political puppet at all, but I'm really grateful to the president when they advertised the positions in chairmans, you know, they advertised for expatriates. Fortunately, I still carry a Sri Lankan passport exclusively, not even dual. So I applied, I got this position, and I'm here in Sri Lanka. I submitted my resignation to Keele University. They refused to accept it. They said, you can live in Sri Lanka, your heart is there, you can. So that's why I'm helping. I really look forward to all of your contributions, whether small or big. Please do stay in touch and wish you all the best. Ranjit, thank you very much. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much for, sir, for your encouraging words. Thanks a lot. And,
Shantara,
yes, sir.
now, since we are not quite familiar with the Sri Lankans joining from UK.
Yeah.
Shall we invite Professor Atula and Professor Dilantha to identify senior members and to
Yes.
express their views on this? Professor
Yeah.
Atula, could you mentioned some names about Professor Dharmadas and so on. Could you help?
I think Dharme and Trishant, my old good friend,
Could you invite me to
I
say
think both
few
of
words?
them are very like-minded, patriotic people. So I think I would like to hear from them.
Oops.
Okay, then first
Atula.
we start with Dr. Dharmadasa.
Thank
Okay,
you very much for
Dharma, you go
volunteering
first.
me. Thank you. I'm glad to see this. I have been working with Sri Lanka since 1990, 30 years now. My main areas are energy sector and higher education. I want to make a few comments. Professor Senaratna mentioned that last 70 years we have been labeled as developing country. Why? The reason is we don't take right decisions and we don't act. I think a lot of professionals like us are silent. That is the problem in our country. I think we need to speak up.
Absolutely.
I want to make a few comments on energy sector. In Sri Lanka, if we want to develop, we need to accelerate take up of renewables. That is what I was doing to capacity building in the country for solar energy research, and also to promote renewables like hydro, solar, wind, and biomass. These are the indigenous energy sources. Unfortunate, and also we should not expand fossil fuel like coal. The whole world is closing down coal, but we are expanding. We are going in the wrong direction. So that is something. We need to be very careful about nuclear industry. Nuclear technologies try to promote nuclear energy as a clean energy. They don't tell the truth to the political leaders. I am fully aware of people coming to Sri Lanka, trying to sell a nuclear plant to Sri Lanka, saying that it is clean energy. It is not. They don't tell the truth because the initial cost is about $50 billion. Commissioning time is 10 years, but they hide the decommissioning cost. It is many, many times of the building cost. And then a decommissioning time is over 100 years. In UK, they are trying to decommission one nuclear plant. It takes 100 years. So we have to be very careful. I think we can't expect this knowledge, technical knowledge from political leaders. We are the right people who have the knowledge. The professionals should pass it to our political leaders. So if we have a nuclear plant in Sri Lanka, if there is accident, my colleague, Professor Dilantha Amaratunga, is doing disaster management. This is unmanageable. So that is about energy sector. I want to say a few words about higher education. How many years we have been hearing this ragging in universities? It is a disaster. Why don't we take action? Why don't we stop this? We have to stop. This is a nuisance. Number two, we have to encourage all the academics in the country to do research. These are not blue sky research. We don't want them. We want academics to look at the real social problems, burning issues, and find the solutions. And that way we can contribute to development of the country. And also I would like to see introduction of appraisal system for academic community. In Sri Lanka, we don't have a system like that. I think those are the comments I want to mention in these two areas, energy sector and higher education. I think the professionals like us can do a lot. If people listen to it, country will go from strength to strength. We love to see it developing. We don't want to see it as a developing country all the time. Thank you.
So I mentioned Trishanta, and then is Professor Mohan around? So Trishanta, over to you.
Thank you, Atula. I think So with my little engagement in Sri Lanka, what I can learn is the sustainability is a real issue. I think what NSF could do is to have some kind of streamlined funding. For example, like, EPSRC here in UK has this GCRF kind of grants. Like, you can collaborate with a developing country partner, and then if the partner has a strong support from that local government or the institute, then the chance of getting that grant is higher usually. So if you can like back up that kind of funding schemes to local partners, that will be really helpful. I think I can see Niranjan here, so he's taking a very pragmatic approach to collaboration with Sri Lanka. I think what I like in his approach is, so they lead to good publications, and then that is what I think what makes the relationship very sustainable. So you cannot publish without a strong support from the local side to the local partners. Niranjan, do you have anything? I mean, do you have anything to add?
Okay, so I wasn't preparing to speak, but hello everyone. My name is Niranjan. I work at Southampton University, and I work in machine learning, artificial intelligence. I graduated from Sri Lanka in 1982. Okay, so I have been doing collaborations with Sri Lankan universities in a very small way, very much below the radar. And I know I don't see this as doing a service. I'm a very selfish person. I see that is something beneficial to me. So when I visit Jaffna and spend time in the Kaishurna beach, or when I'm in Peradeniya walking around the gardens, this is highly, highly enjoyable. And over the last 10 years, I have 4 students who have finished their PhDs in Sri Lankan universities who I supervised remotely. And there are 3 lecturers of computer science who did their PhDs with me in the UK, who are back at home. So working with them, collaborating with them is dead simple. It's highly enjoyable. I think in the universities, they're heavily constrained because there's a huge staff shortage. So the government and NSF and so on, you can push to do more research, but there is only so many hours in a day. So if you look at contact hours that my own students have with students in teaching, that is so much higher than what I have here that really we have to ask ourselves, how much more can we squeeze out of them? So research is not just about saying having an appraisal system, having a requirement that certain allowances will be paid if you can do research, but it should also be about creating the opportunities and the facilities within which people can actually do this. But despite all these constraints, we have pockets of absolutely brilliant researchers in Sri Lankan universities with whom I thoroughly enjoy collaborating. What is missing, I would say, is critical mass, is to bring it up to a certain level of critical mass in which it will sustain itself. At the moment, there are pockets of very high quality research. It has to be built up to critical mass. The only other thing I would say is that when I collaborate in very small scale things by supervising undergraduate projects, supervising PhD students, these are small scale things that can be done very efficiently. But what would be ideal through an initiative like this is to be able to identify big challenges that are very relevant there. So I don't know, it may be overuse of fertilizers leading to kidney disease. It may be the kind of disasters and subsequent managements like thing that Dilanthi is wonderfully working on. We could be better, if we could be better informed through initiatives like this about what really the grand challenges to which we can contribute are, then even if we are not, Trishanta and I are not the experts in those topics, we can acquire that kind of expertise and channel and coordinate and so on. So that's my position, but I'm very, very pleased that this initiative is kicking off, and I would be part of it quite a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, is Professor Mohan around? No. Okay.
No.
This Professor Dilanthi, could you help us identify some expatriates who could share their thoughts with us?
Yeah, thanks, Sandeep.
Before you go to the next one, can I leave? I have got another meeting.
Yeah.
So is it okay for me to leave right now? But I'll be involved. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Amari, thanks, Atula.
Okay.
Right.
Goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
I think, of course, you know, I had Niranjan as number one in my list, but Krishant, you speak. So, Niranjan, thank you very much. When I saw you, you know, I knew that you are doing various things in a maybe perhaps in a different way. So I do, for example, but we need a different example. But perhaps I suppose, of course, there are sort of very senior people who have actually joined this discussion. But I suppose maybe to sort of actually share the views of early career researchers. I think I can see a lot of people who have joined, and what is their views are, because for example when our lot, I suppose, you know, the oldies, when we retire, the other lot actually will have to pick this up. So I suppose maybe to give the floor to one of the early career researchers from the UK. What are your views? I can see a lot of them. Do you want me to pick one of you, or can one of you volunteer? Maybe I should volunteer.
Hi, sorry, Dilani, I would like to volunteer, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned young professionals, because opening the floor to senior members, we were left wondering, does that mean we can't contribute? So thank you for that. And I'd just like to make a few points, reiterate a few points that a few people have touched on already, including yourself. So having seen let me introduce myself first. I'm Darini, and I am a biomedical sciences fellow at the University of Cambridge. And my specialization is in bioinformatics and deep learning. So that's a part of machine learning. And currently my field of expertise is, I use my expertise in drug discovery. So one point I would like to make is it's great that we have this platform, and you know, you're going to put all these membership details in there. What I would really like to see is also membership details of existing researchers in Sri Lanka, because if you try to find someone's contact details in a specialist area, this is really difficult to do, because here in the UK or anywhere else really, if you log on to your university or institute's website, your contact details are right there, and it's pretty simple for someone to reach out to you and start talking to you. But I find this very difficult to do with in identifying potential collaborators in Sri Lanka. And also there are a couple of things like improving resources for young researchers in Sri Lankan institutions, such as, do they all have access to sort of journals that you need subscriptions to so that you can stay up to date with the latest information? Because these can be quite expensive, and I don't think this is quite as well widespread in Sri Lankan institutions. And also, how about money for publications? I've seen several friends of mine who actually self-fund publication costs for articles that they write. So I think there needs to be more funding in this area as well. And I guess tapping into collaborative funds like the Gcrf that was mentioned. There's also Innovate UK grants from the UKRI institutions that we can also tap into. And perhaps also allowing young professionals in the UK and elsewhere to have local affiliations in Sri Lankan institutions. Because as you all know, if you're a postdoc, you're not really eligible to hold certain grants unless you're in a tenured position in a university. So I think it might be quite difficult for you to say, you might want to do something with a Sri Lankan institution, but you can't because you are employed by a certain department under certain regulations. So I think these are the points I would like to make. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. You are children from Cambridge. I wish to make a few observations in relation to the points you made regarding matchmaking, trying to identify matching partners. We are already in the process of developing database of Sri Lankan scientists, and now we have about around nearly 6,000 already fed into our database. Also now those who have registered with us, also now we are developing the database, and also our wish list, what we want also would be included, and also our expatriates, what they are looking for, partnership also will be included. That will facilitate matchmaking to identify right partners. I think that is already we are addressing. And in regard to this journals, yes, that is a serious issue. These are pretty expensive and it's difficult for our universities to subscribe to most of those databases. But the National Science Foundation has taken the initiative to establish a national digital library. So for all countries, the public sector, universities, R&D and also private sector, all we will be taking care of. Now I think if they are spending now over 500 million rupees annually, with our digital base, we can get greater access in a more user-friendly manner at a lesser cost to the digital platform. So we are already working on this digital platform, and for publication, NSF generally provides support when there's page fee involved, page charges involved. We are providing to some extent, but this year is going through a bad patch because of the pandemic. Otherwise, we have been generally providing support. And also, Professor Dharmadas also mentioned about we are still remaining underdeveloped as a underdeveloped country for which scientists and professionals are responsible. I cannot agree more. And we are using this digital platform to weld and meld these professionals and develop into a formidable force so that we can be a lodestar guiding force, and also that cannot be just brushed aside. So we are having only interest in the country, and we are no political interest, apolitical, purely the country. And I think this platform really help to strengthen our local voice, our professional voice, with support coming from and reinforcement coming from our Sri Lankan overseas. Thank you. I think we can get some more members to share their thoughts with us.
Thank you, Professor Senarath. I can see two names, Professor Fernando and Dr. Kirti Devendra would like to make some comments.
Great, we welcome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you very much, Dharme. Right. My name is Terence Fernando. I left Sri Lanka in 1982. So I studied at the University of Monaco Computer Science. So I work as a professor at the University of Salford, and I run a lab called Think Lab. So that's mainly focusing on bringing digital innovations to a range of sectors like urban simulation, disaster management, space exploration, and so on. So first, I'd like to thank Ranjit for really initiating this platform, and also feedback from other colleagues. I think it's a really excellent idea. My initial thoughts are, sometimes when you're trying to bring this kind of communities or practices, question is, how do you sustain it? Because sometimes, it is, you start with the good intention, but however, how do you really keep bringing the energy so that people keep coming back, engaging, and then continuously really feed those ideas into that platform to divert that energy to the people on the ground. So one of the advice, I don't know, maybe ideas I have is maybe, I think we talked about access to expertise, having a knowledge base about how do you really search different people. So if you're looking for a project idea, I think Dhiran's idea is very good. And also perhaps maybe running a seminar series, because lots of people are doing lots of interesting projects, but we don't know the scientific inventions and so on. So perhaps maybe that also could facilitate through a seminar series to provide that knowledge transfer, if you like, from the UK to Sri Lankan academics and so on. That could be another activity. And also my kind of experience is, unless there are some projects happening between the two parties, it's always just a talking shop. Yeah, so there should be some projects which is combining UK expertise and Sri Lankan academic expertise to really deliver something, over time. So I think some of our colleagues mentioned about Gcrf projects. So I have 2 Gcrf projects I'm already engaged in Sri Lanka. They're quite large projects. One is to develop a digital infrastructure for disaster management. So I'm working with a range of government organizations and University of Moretu and University of Colombo for that. We got the second Gcrf to look at the risk-sensitive urban design. So that's again bringing urban development authorities and other organizations to break the boundaries, the political boundaries, knowledge sharing, to think about how do you build better, sustainable environment for Sri Lanka. But also bring lots of academics, and we've been running over the last 4 years about maybe lots of conferences to bring academics, practitioners to apply this digital innovation to bring kind of innovation to that. So maybe that's perhaps could be some of the key projects that you can consider in terms of bringing into the digital platform, so you can, other people can engage. And the other thing is perhaps as academics, we got lots of ideas. We wish, okay, how can we address this particular research question? And we haven't got resources. Perhaps maybe through the digital platform, we can maybe suggest some of the research questions for the young academics in Sri Lanka, maybe for senior academics to really see, can we address that? Maybe NSF can take some of those challenges and try and fund those Sri Lankan academics to implement them. So perhaps maybe my main concern is actually, how do you maintain the sustainability of these communities of practice? So I would like to really see no structure, but very organic way of people coming together, building teams, creating projects, and making sure it's nurtured through the kind of more natural progression. So any just hope that's some ideas. Ranjit.
Thank you very much, Terence. You raised some very important points about how to sustain. We know people launch programs with a lot of fanfare, but ultimately, few years time, they have really grounded. So we have really taken that into account, this sustainability, and how we can keep them engaged. So what we have noted, what you mentioned, we propose to have some our social media, our Facebook, our digital newsletters, and keep you posted of what is going on, and have a constant dialogue with you. And we have also seen what Taiwan, Pakistan, China also doing, and they are also having this type of programs to keep the hearts and mind engaged with this. Otherwise, since we are meeting virtual, face to face, over time things could, energy and enthusiasm could dissipate. So we have to keep fueling the flame. So that is a challenge, and we will try to do our utmost through our constant interaction through this digital platform, and having mutually rewarding programs and discussions.
Yeah, and just can I come back? I mean, really, I'm glad really you thought about it, because I've seen lots of platforms that we build for European Commission as well. Yeah. And as you said, Facebooks are quite important to really keep you informed. Yeah. The other things about how do you go from keeping informed into more engagement kind of stuff. So the engagement usually happen by working together kind of stuff. Maybe I was wondering, in your NSF portfolio, you might have some intention for supporting some projects for Sri Lankan academics, where we could act as advisors, maybe, right, perhaps. So if you have an advisory committee, bringing from UK, Australia, where for the particular project, we could be the steering committee to make sure that scientific thoughts are, are properly addressed, and make sure opening the doors for them, giving some ideas, challenging some of those ideas, maybe might be one of the things that we can help, so that we feel we much engaged with that, through the platform could be one. The second thing is this Gcrf things that, we've been very good at getting some funds. So maybe how do you really facilitate NSF's plus UK grants? I think it's one of our colleagues, colleague mentioned that. So how do you multiply the funding you already have by tapping into UK possibilities and Australian possibilities. That could be another one as well. So just to tell you other things, I think Dharme talk about why we are still developing, right? So one of the things we have is hierarchical system. So when I try to engage with Sri Lankan kind of people as well, actually, young people perhaps don't get the opportunity to do research because there's a hierarchical big control somehow, stopping them. So how can we break those barriers? Can we really reach young people who got the energy and the enthusiasms to push the scientific technology, science into Sri Lanka and make a difference? The reason we can't make a difference is we can't break the doors down. There are lots of hierarchical things. And so I hope this digital platform will not bring another layer of hierarchical control by bringing other people that will stop, genuine people want to contribute.
I think this will this will not, we'll try to really bring down these barriers through this digital platform. And especially we like to have now our scientists and academics as visiting our adjunct professors, our visiting professors, our reviewers, on editorial board members, right? And speakers on topical themes. And also we propose to have these 6 similar interest groups like called NLP, Network of Like-Minded Professionals. So we will be now, after we are through with this feeding bios of our scientists, we will be identifying the similar interest groups, and then there will be they are like-minded people, so that common interest, so they would be able to interact more profitably and a rewarding manner. So that will add to sustainability of the partnership. So it will try to make a win-win situation, so that will be mutually rewarding. So this type of thing we are now in the process of identifying these similar interest groups and this network of like-minded professionals. We are in the process.
Yeah, so sorry to keep, maybe I'm taking too much time. And it's really great to hear that, but perhaps maybe cluster of communities so that you can have specialized clusters so that academics from UK and Sri Lankans could work together, but not just clusters. So clusters could become very much about tunnel vision, because we also need to support interdisciplinary kind of knowledge transfer as well. Perhaps think about in the digital platform, how do you promote focused clusters as well as maybe interaction between those clusters to take up more global challenges, because lots of global challenges needs interdisciplinary thinking. So how do you create this kind of a knowledge structures, knowledge communities, they interact within their domain as well as between domains. So that will be, so I'll be very interested to think about how this digital platform could be built, because I've built lots of collaboration platform for other sectors like aerospace, space, urban simulation, because I think about how do you support this kind of interdisciplinary knowledge flow. Yeah, that's art. That is a bit of a interesting domain to explore. So as academics, how do you really facilitate that? So, so not just technology and the right people, the people who hasn't got a personal agenda, making sure that they're really working with the interest of the community and with the country, make sure that you put the right people to that place to support that interaction, perhaps.
Okay, thank you very much, Terence. We appreciate your valuable contribution. Any other members?
I think Sarat Vijay Singh has been waiting for a long time. So can we please give him the chance? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Dilanti, making the floor to me. My name is Sarat Vijay Singh. I'm not from the academic side, but I do think this floor is open for all the experts. I'm working for industry side in UK. So I was graduated from University of Moratuwa 1990, and I did my MSc in South Bank University and Science and Technology University in Norway. So currently I'm working as in a renewable industry, especially promoting and working with offshore industry in the UK. I think our UK colleagues know that we are leading on the renewable energy, especially wind industry. Offshore is the key target now, the UK government to achieve this renewable, even the European level. So I really like the Professor Dharmdas made some comments on the nuclear. I have been approached by one of the Russian companies because some of my names know in the European as a Sri Lankan expert in how to promote nuclear industry in Sri Lanka. I made exactly the same things. It is not a green energy and it is too big for our countries like Sri Lanka, especially the two things made it is capital investment, and the other thing is decommissioning of nuclear industry. The last 5 years, I try to promote offshore wind industry into Sri Lanka because I have been working in Ceylon Electricity Board for 15 years before coming to UK. So I know the Sri Lankan electricity system very well and how we manage and how we deal with. So the good thing is the recent government announced at least the policy 80% renewable energy by 2030. So, but still I don't know how. I am trying to get more detail how we are going to achieve, and my intention and my attempt is to give the support to achieve based on what we have learned and experienced from the UK, especially renewable sector. So, but still, even in the last government, last 5 years, I written to all the, from president to the ministry level, CB level about this. And now after the new government, I started again, I wrote to the president about this and how the experts like us can support to achieve these targets. But still, it is not happening that level. So it is I'm not too sure it is the policy barriers or whatever, but technically I know that we cannot do much of the renewable until we solve the current existing issues in our grid system stability solution. So we need to first solve these things. Those are the 2 points I highlighted in my letter to the Honorable President. So therefore, in this digital platform, if we can raise a voice something, we need to go for more renewable integration. And there are avenues. All our Asian specific countries like Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, Australia, they are now moving toward that direction. Especially they are promoting offshore wind. Even now UK and Europe, we all know that we are leading on that. Therefore, I'm very happy to give my support to that industry. I have 15 years experience in integrating large renewables into UK grid system. Currently, we are developing 1400 megawatt offshore wind farm, 900 megawatt under construction. Those all accumulated experience with us, but nobody is willing to take these opportunities. That's my worrying actually. Why as a country we love Sri Lanka as a country, why not taking these opportunities? That's open to the floor, my questions.
Yes, a small clarification. When you call this offshore renewable energy, is it wave energy or wind energy? What type of energy you are referring?
Yeah, it is offshore wind energy.
Wind energy.
Wind energy. That is, sorry?
Not wave energy, wind energy.
Wave energy is very preliminary stage. It is not enhanced in industry level. It is a research and development level, and maybe 1 or 2 try to be in commercial level. But offshore wind industry is a very commercial, very economic, market competitive and reliable. So that's what's happening now. So it is happening very large scale, and everybody is keeping eye on offshore wind industry. And we are an island. Why we are not taking that? I know that in the very initial studies concluded by OECD, there is about 20-30 megawatt easy potential, 200 to I think 20 to 30 gigawatt, not megawatt, 20 to 30 gigawatt potential around our country, very easily enhance those things. So recently, one onshore wind farm in Mena Basin, it is already commissioned, I think, last few weeks. So it is 100 megawatt onshore, but we can go for more larger scale, provided our grid system is able to handle, because at the moment I would see the grid system is not sufficient to handle the very recent blackout. When I analyzed those, what has happened, I understood what was the problem, and we need to rectify those first to going forward with the renewable industry energy.
And thanks a lot. Actually, we are happy that we have participants from industry, because we are also not only knowledge transfer, but also technology transfer is one of the key objectives of this platform. So
Good.
your contribution is very relevant, and we very much look forward to. I have made notes of what you said. You may be knowing the Bandula Vijay from USA, and he's actually involved with us. And when we meet these ministers and the president next time, I will also mention about your communication about, especially in the realm of wind energy.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I sent email to directly to the president. I don't know whether it is landed president's table or not. I made this with two parts. So, yeah, some of the colleagues in Canada, they are working on that. Even CB chairman contacted me about this, because I work in Ceylon Electricity Board. My colleagues are AGMs, DGMs, all. They all know me. So therefore they try to contact me, but it is nothing happening. That's the problem, actually. It is not taking right step in the right direction. That's what I want to see. I can help any point. I already know my colleagues. When I go to Sri Lanka, I will do the presentations to my colleagues in Ceylon Electricity Board every time about this. They know that, but it is not happening in, I don't know which level. It is a government level or ministry level or engineering level, or some barriers are there. I want to break these barriers.
Okay, we will do what we could to facilitate this contribution from our.
Thank you.
Many thanks, sir. Yes. Dilanti, any other?
Good afternoon. This is Keith Devendra. May I have an opportunity?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Right. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Keith Devendra. I'm based in Derby in the United Kingdom. I started my life in Peradeniya. Then I moved to Edinburgh University, then to Sheffield University, and then to the Leeds University. Then I moved to industry. I have been in industry for over 30 years in the UK and in Germany. Now, this is a very good idea to start this platform. This highlights the importance of fundamental research, which is very good. Fundamental research is extremely important. But one thing we have to recognize is that to benefit, if the country wants to benefit from fundamental research, we need to be able to convert those ideas into industrial or commercial products. And the transformation from research knowledge into a commercial product has many stages. One of the first things we have to do is we must protect our intellectual property. One of the areas we have not focused properly perhaps is protecting our knowledge. How do we get patents? I understand in Sri Lanka there's a huge backlog of patents pending clearance. So that's an area we must focus on. The other thing is, of course, having a patent is not sufficient to get the commercial and economical benefits. We have to convert into a product with the right quality, with the right price, which meets the international standards. So I have seen many ideas generated in Sri Lanka. In some cases, foreign companies have benefited from them because we have not managed to protect our ideas. In some cases, although people have come up with the good ideas, they do not become commercial products with the right quality. That is because it seems there is no infrastructure to support them. So yes, research is very important. Scientific knowledge is very important. Equally important is to protect the scientific knowledge internationally and to find a way to convert those ideas into marketable products in an economical way with the highest quality, which meets international standards. So, and I have been working in the engineering and manufacturing development for more than 30 years in the UK and in Germany. So thank you very much indeed. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Kirti. We have noted your field of this IPR. This area now we are really working on actively. We had the division of technology. Now we made it technology and innovation. So the IPR will become an integral part of that. We would be communicating with you. Looking forward to your support in strengthening, especially our innovation ecosystem in our country. This my friend Dandure is here. Dandure. Dandure, Vicky? Probably.
Yes, Ranjit, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Can I speak now?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Dandure Vikramasinghe. People call me Dan or Vicky. I graduated from a university, the University of Sri Lanka in 1982. So I've been in the academia as a lecturer, senior lecturer, and a professor over the last 38 years now, I think. I'm the professor of accounting at the University of Glasgow at the moment. I can talk about the Sri Lankan University's social science and management faculties because I have worked in the University of Runa and Colombo once I was the Dean of the Faculty of Management. I know what the situation there is. One of the things, as Ranjit mentioned at the beginning, is that there are lots of people are going to study in surrounding Asian universities, and they are coming back with low quality qualifications or low quality experience. And that is being actually fed into the university system, making the universities are also low quality institutions. Therefore, I think now the universities are in Sri Lanka becoming teaching colleges rather than universities. When we think about international ranking, universities are at very low bottom levels. The other thing I understood is that many faculties, mainly social science and management faculties, are having faculty-based journals. They are publishing rubbish things continuously. And young people are thinking that that is the level that they have to actually take on. That's a bad experience for young people. Secondly, every year, all universities, I'm talking about social science and management faculties, they're having annual so-called research conferences. There are ceremonies, having lunch and various, events, but the quality of research presentations is very, very low. And based on these conference presentations, unfortunately, lots of people get promotions to professorship and so on. So there are lots of conference professors in Sri Lankan universities now as a result. That happened in the last 20 years, that very much. So one of the barriers is that, as some colleagues actually mentioned, lack of resources. People cannot attend international conferences. They don't have money to go. People can't access to good journal articles. There are no subscriptions being made by university libraries. And also there are no international collaborations. I helped some people to get PhDs from UK universities. I supported them to get scholarships, PhDs in the past 10, 15 years. I can help continuing doing that. But we need a mechanism to resolve this problem. People don't read articles, don't read new things. I'm an accounting professor. I'm involved in wider social science reading, sociology, anthropology, history, etc., to understand how accounting operates in wider context, how accounting can be converted into mechanisms of accountability and governance. So people are not aware of these, developments because they don't read and they don't have access to readings. That's the main problem. So we need a mechanism. I think this digital platform is a good opportunity to go forward this, to create a good mechanism. Maybe creating organic reading groups, seminar series, workshops, research collaborations, projects, in order to, upgrade the level of understanding of research, understanding of international quality of research in Sri Lankan universities. Otherwise, these universities will remain, or these faculties will remain unchanged as teaching colleges forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Damsuri, for a very important observation, especially dealing with the social sciences and management. We had contributed from other spheres. This is a very important area that we need to focus on. I cannot agree more with you with regard to what you said about the quality of journals and the conference proceedings. As a matter of fact, NSF now we are publishing over 130 journals in Sri Lanka. We have selected few and we are trying to increase their quality and impact factors. So we are trying to select a few and focusing, so that at present we have only one journal, that is National Science Foundation Journal, actually, which has got the FCI expanded status, and 5 in the emerging status. So we are trying to raise the bar of our journals and try to get more into this index status, and we look forward to support from our expatriates, our Sri Lankans overseas, to take this to a higher level. We appreciate very much, Tanture. Yes. Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think there are still a lot of really good information is coming in, and also I can see a lot of I think in the chat there are a lot of sort of private messages being posted by I think now I counted about 30, 40 messages being shared. So is it okay if I sort of suggest that on it in terms of capturing all this information from this community and to sort of share that with you as I think in my view that will be a very good starting point, and I'm very happy to coordinate that, because I think there are a lot of people in this platform who are coming from various fields, and also I know there are a lot of people who haven't joined today, but they are there. But I think capturing that the bigger picture will be very good, and so many people have suggested that. So if that's something that would like us to do, so we can
Yeah, we appreciate very much that if you could help us with that. It is true that because of this timing, some inform that in the morning it is impossible for them to join, but it is, but for some possible, some not possible. So I think, but they could still join with us, and you could help link them with us, with your network, Dilanti. So if you could also collect those things and send us, we would appreciate that very much.
I will actually do a kind of a very simple template, and then I think we should be able to actually share that.
Dilanti, can I make a small point about?
Yes.
So when we apply for grants, it is especially, let's say, Gcrf, it's very helpful if the country we are the partnering with has a clear national agenda, so that we can relate the grant objectives to the national priorities and national plans. So when we write a grant with, let's say, Sri Lanka, I found it really difficult to somehow like dig out what the national priorities are in that area, for example, in robotics, for agriculture, for example. And then I cannot back it up with evidence. So what we can do maybe in our own areas, we can partner with some Sri Lankan colleagues and the National Science Foundation to formulate some long-term national priorities, national kind of agendas. And then that if that is adopted as a national priority, then it is really easy to plan things. So then, when we collaborate, we know what to contribute towards and things like that. Otherwise, it is kind of really ad hoc right now, right? So I do something I like, and then I don't know if it is really contributing to the country or not. Like, I think from the Sri Lankan side, it is, if you can come up with, okay, this is what we need for the next 10 years in this area. And if we can get to this milestone, then that will help this many industries or spin out this many companies in this area, or something like a target. That would be really helpful.
Thank you, Kishan. Actually, about a year ago, high priority, high impact areas have been identified in various sectors. Now, once we are through with the platform, you will also post those things on the platform, so they would be able to see the high priority, high impact areas in the strategic sectors of the economy. So we have made a note of that, and we'll pay special attention to upload necessary material to the platform, so that that information is accessible to our scientists and professionals overseas.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Professor Senaratne, could I make a quick comment on Professor Danture Wickramasinghe's
yes.
I have seen this in Sri Lanka. Every university wants to start a journal. And I think the NSF is the best institute to do it, rather than concentrating on large number. If we publish few selected journals, I have also contributed to one of the NSF journals in the past, but the citation is very low. It's because nobody look at it. We need to improve the quality. This platform will be very ideal to get more articles, high quality articles, and stop those large number of journals from every university. Concentrate on 3 or 4 in the country. That way we can improve the quality of the journals. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, this is exactly now we are now aiming at, because we have out of 130 now we are in the process of shortlisting them up to about 8 to 10 covering key disciplines, and then try to draw upon and also invite our experts to really contribute, and also to serve on the editorial board, and then try to raise the bar of those and try to get the index status. Thank you very much, Professor Dharmadas. That will be hugely useful.
I think Ranjit, just to add a very brief comment on Dharme's view. I think collaboration is not only about projects, definitely about publications also. So in that sense, I think Danture actually summarized that really, really well. I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
About conferences and doing and blatantly doing your own papers in your own conference and giving you the best paper award sort of situation is stopping, and also consolidating the good journals, and particularly with international rankings such as Scopus is really important. And also for those journals need to have kind of, if at all possible, open access. Otherwise, as Dharme said, they don't actually generate any citations. I think the publication area is really need to look into. So, and that is one of the areas that I can easily help as an editor of a Scopus journal for the last 17 years. So maybe we can talk about these things later. Thank you very much.
I think now about 1.5 hours we have spent, I think, but there will be a follow-up action on this, and we would be also looking at the what they have also sent to you, and our Shanta also will compile them, the chat box what has been sent, and we would be communicating with them. And many thanks. I think our Shanta will really make these concluding remarks, I, as the chairman, I will just express my profound appreciation and gratitude to you, taking your time off your busy schedule in the morning and actively contributing to the goals and objectives. So we look forward to, as mentioned earlier, look forward to building organic partnership. Aindriya සම්බන්ධතා අපේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ජනතාව සමග ගොඩනැගීමට අපි ඉමහත් අපේක්ෂාවෙන් සිටිනවා. ඒ නිසා අප නැවත සැමට බොහොම ස්තුතියි අපේකට දායක සම්බන්ධයෙන්. Mr. Shanta.
Sir, thank you very much. And as Sir highlighted, first of all, I also would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all our great expatriates and our Sri Lankan PLP and the Professor Dilanti and everyone for your commitment with at your busy time schedule. You contributed a lot. I think today we successfully achieved the objective of the today's webinar. To recap, summarize, I think I won't take much time just to highlight the what are the recap, enhancement of publications, determinants for the international collaboration, sustainability and update information should be in the platform. There, I think disaster mitigation and the renewable energy sectors, those are high national priorities even in Sri Lanka. Again, the highlighted negative effects of the nuclear energy. I think government high priority is not for nuclear energy as in the vistas of national prosperity. They have highlighted only the renewable energy. I think it is eventually boils down to the actions and strategies and actions. I think in a way those are moving off the ground. So publishing high-end research, but research shall focus not only the blue sky research, but it should be addressed the demand side of innovation, of course, issues of at the grassroots level, problems, increase the critical mass, mapping the international, tapping the international funding opportunities, matching the right expatriate with the Sri Lankan researchers, knowledge transfer seminars, sustainability of the knowledge fostering communities, and the I think we may have to find some strategies to break the hierarchical barriers to unleash more opportunities for our young researchers. That also highlighted tapping the, I think today one of the most successful factor, they are our expatriate from the industry sector also. Inputs from the industry sector also very important. There it was highlighted, protecting the intellectual property is very, very important. Of course, Sri Lanka, our researchers tend to protect their IP within the national context, but very, 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 very rare to handful go to the international level, PCT level, patent cooperation treaty or international level. So NSF in a way promoting and fostering, protecting intellectual property, not only the national context, of course, international arena. So we will take those in black and white, and also highlighted the importance of transforming the R&D output to the commercial products. We are happy to announce that the NSF system still, already geared towards that, because we have a separate division called technology division, of which main role is to convert or translate the R&D output to the commercial level products. There are a lot of challenges, but in a way we are pushing. Fostering the clusters on focus fields, align with our efforts may be aligned with the national priorities, and there shall be good mechanism to uplift the research standards to the international levels. And those are the major comments. In overall, what I can say is valuable comments are there. We will put into black and white, and as our chairman, Professor Senaratne mentioned, all the black and white records and voice records will share with you, and we will continue the rapport and close contacts to ensure that the sustainability, as Professor Dilanti highlighted, I will try my best to update. I mean, once the platform commission, I will try to best of our ability to update the information and keep as a live wire and dynamic up and running system. So once again, today I can conclude that the webinar is very successful. To conclude, thank you all very much, and I won.
Many thanks. Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, many thanks. Profound appreciation. Good one, huh? Tanture.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, right. So nice seeing you. My brother.
Yeah, it was very nice. Wonderful.
Okay, dear. Many thanks. Many thanks to all that. Huh?
Bye.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very much. Many thanks.